Welcome back to Every Naval Battle in History. This episode is about the clash of two of the greatest naval leaders in history, the Battle of Naulochus in 36 BCE. Now, most students of history know that Pompey was defeated by Caesar and his allies at the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BCE. Pompey fled to Egypt, and Cleopatra's brother Ptolemy XIII executed him to try and make friends with the victorious Caesar. And that was the end of the Pompeiian cause, right? Well, he did have a son. The younger of Pompey's sons, Sextus Pompey, survived Caesar's vengeance, and after Caesar's death he escaped the attention of Octavian and Antony. While they concentrated their attentions on Caesar's assassins, the younger Pompey carved himself quite the Mediterranean Empire. At the height of his powers, all three of the great islands, Sardinia, Corsica and Sicily, had rallied to his banner. If the dice had landed slightly differently, he might well have reclaimed the empire for the Pompeian faction. Unfortunately, he was up against an unusually formidable opponent when push came to shove. Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa was born into modest means. His family were equestrian plebeian, what we'd think of today as upper middle class. Throughout Octavian's rise to power, Agrippa would be there, fixing things. The Roman foot, as in the unit of measurement, was literally measured from Agrippa's foot. He built aqueducts and the Pantheon, and when there was hard fighting to be done, particularly at sea, he was there to carry the day. After a lot of backstabbing, broken treaties, and general skullduggery, Sextus, in 36 BCE, blockaded Rome, cutting off the vital African grain supplies. Once your empire grows to a certain size, being able to move grain by sea becomes essential. With Sextus commanding the waves, Agrippa built secret ports with secret entrances to the sea, trained new fleets, and gave Octavian desperately needed options. Octavian split the force into 3 fleets and 3 armies to make 3 landings in Sicily. Interestingly, Octavian's forces, faced with the masters of the sea under Sextus, resorted to the old Roman solution, the corvus, to force boarding actions which would give their invading army something useful to do at sea. At Mylae, Agrippa overcame a portion of Sextus's fleet, but they were able to retreat towards Octavian's fleet and smashed it. Octavian swam ashore thinking all was lost. The site of Naulochus is now the subject of debate, but somewhere between Mylae and the Strait of Messina is generally agreed. I'm going to go with modern-day Spadafora, but it could be anywhere along this stretch of coast. At Naulochus, Agrippa deployed an upgrade to the corvus, the harpax, a weapon of his own invention. Basically a ship harpoon. It used a ballista to fire a long-shanked grappling hook into the enemy ships and then pull them into a boarding action, the shank stopping the defenders from simply cutting the rope. One of the first decisively useful missile weapons in naval history. It's true that archers and catapults had been used before, but not to this kind of effect. When the combined fleet under Agrippa came up against Sextus's fleet, they had reportedly 300 ships each, a huge naval battle. The result was astonishing, although even the ancient sources acknowledged that if Sextus had been aware of the harpax, then cutting knives on long poles would have negated it. Of Sextus's 300 ships, 28 were sunk, 17 fled. The other 255 were captured. 255! Just 3 of Agrippa's ships were lost. And this is not the most important victory of Agrippa's extraordinary career. We'll come back for the big show next week. Strap in, folks, we've got lots more to cover as we take on every naval battle in history. Smash those like and subscribe buttons, ring that bell. You don't want to get left behind.